By the end of this tutorial, you'll be able to set up and run your first Claude Code project. You'll learn the basics of Claude Code and how to get started with it. This is useful because Claude Code is a powerful tool for building applications with the Claude API, and getting started with it can be a bit overwhelming. But don't worry, I'll guide you through it step by step. Claude Code is a key part of the Claude ecosystem, which includes the Claude API, Claude.md, and MCP servers. With Claude Code, you can create custom applications that integrate with these tools and even extend their functionality with subagents, hooks, and skills. To get started, you'll need to have a basic understanding of coding concepts, but you don't need to be an expert in Claude or its tools. I'll show you how to set up your environment, create a new project, and run your first Claude Code application. By following along, you'll be up and running with Claude Code in no time. Your first step will be to install the necessary tools and create a new project, which we'll cover in the next part of this tutorial. Vocabulary, ecosystem, integrate subagents, hooks, skills. By the end of this, you'll be able to create a new project using the Claude API. To start coding with Claude Code, you need to set up your environment. First, head to the Anthropic website and sign up for an account. This is where you'll get your API key, which is essential for using Claude Code. Once you've signed up and verified your account, navigate to the API section and generate a new API key. Copy this key. You'll need it soon. Now, open your terminal and install the Claude Code library using pip. The command is straightforward: pip install Claude Code. Run this command, and pip will handle the installation for you. With the library installed and your API key ready, you're one step closer to building your first project with Claude Code. Now that you have the foundation set up, it's time to think about what you want to build. Vocabulary, pip, API, terminal, library. By the end of this, you'll be able to write and run your first Claude Code program. Now that you have Claude Code set up, it's time to create your first file. You'll call it hello_claude.claude. Go ahead and open your favorite text editor, create a new file, and save it with that name. In this file, you'll write your first Claude Code program using the Claude.md syntax. This syntax is used to define functions that can interact with the Claude API. For your first program, you'll define a simple function that takes a name as input and returns a greeting message. To start, add the following line at the top of your hello_claude.claude file. Hashtag, define a function to generate a greeting. Then, on the next line, define your function like this: function greet, name. Now, inside this function, you'll return a greeting message. Add the line, return hello $name. This function, greet, takes a name as input and returns a personalized greeting. The $name in the greeting message is a variable that will be replaced with the actual name passed to the function. You now have your first Claude Code program written. It's a simple start, but it's a crucial step in getting familiar with the Claude.md syntax and how Claude Code functions are defined. Next, try running this function using the Claude API to see it in action. By the end of this, you'll be able to run your Claude Code project and see the output. Now that you've written your first Claude Code file, it's time to run it. Open your terminal, navigate to the directory where you created your hello_claude.claude file, and type Claude run hello_claude.claude. Press enter, and you'll see the output of your program. If everything is set up correctly, you should see the message, Hello, Claude, printed to the console. If you encounter any errors, don't worry. They're an opportunity to learn. Look closely at the error message, and you'll see that it tells you exactly what went wrong and where. You can use this information to debug your code and try again. For example, if you forgot to define a variable, the error message will point you to the line of code where the variable is used. You can then go back to your code, define the variable, and try running it again. The key is to take it one step at a time and use the error messages to guide you. With a little practice, you'll be writing and running Claude Code projects like a pro. Now, go ahead and try running your project. Open your terminal, navigate to the right directory, and type Claude run hello_claude.claude. See what happens, and we'll take it from there. By now, you've run your first Claude Code project, and it's time to take a look at what happened under the hood. This step will show you how Claude.md syntax is used to define functions and variables, giving you a clear understanding of how Claude processes your code. First, open your terminal or command prompt where you ran your script. If you're in Windows, it's probably Command-EXE or PowerShell on Mac OS or Linux. Just use the regular terminal.app. Make sure you're in the root directory of your Claude Code project by typing bash cd path / to / your / project. Now, let's take a peek at what Claude generated. Use your text editor to open the file named output.txt or whatever you called it. This file contains the execution results and any logs from Claude. As you scroll through the output, you'll see something like this. Plain text. Function calculate_area was defined as def calculate_area radius. Return 3.14 radius. Variable radius was assigned a value of 5. Result of calculate_area 5, 78.5. This output is written in Claude.md syntax, which you can think of as Claude's own internal language. It shows exactly what functions and variables were defined during the execution. The def keyword indicates a function definition, followed by its name and parameters. Variables are shown with their assigned values. Notice how Claude clearly outlines each step it took to execute your code. This is invaluable for debugging or understanding complex workflows. If something didn't work as expected, you can go back and tweak the Claude.md script to see if that fixes the issue. By reviewing these results, you gain insight into how Claude processes your code, allowing you to fine-tune your scripts for better performance and accuracy. By the end of this, you'll be able to take your first Claude Code project to the next level. You've made it through your first hour with Claude Code, and you've seen how to create, run, and review a simple Claude Code project. Now, it's time to build on that foundation. Your next step is to try modifying the hello_Claude.claude file to accept additional input parameters and return more complex responses. Open your terminal and run Claude run hello_Claude.claude again to see the changes in action. As you work with Claude Code, you'll find that the key to mastering it is to experiment and try new things. Don't be afraid to break something. It's all part of the learning process. If you want to see more examples and tutorials like this one, be sure to subscribe to our channel for the latest updates on working with Claude and the Claude API. Now, go ahead and give it a try. Open your hello_Claude.claude file, make some changes, and run Claude run hello_Claude.claude to see what you can create.